Thanks for listening to Stokely and Zach On Demand. Before Zach tells us who is moonwalking in the Hall of Fame today, have you subscribed to our podcast? Subscribe everywhere you get your podcast or at 1043thefan.com.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday, live from Blake Street Tavern. Here's Stokely and Zach on Denver Sports Station, 1043 The Fan.
Is Teddy Bridgewater gaming the system? What the heck am I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. You talking about something to do with like completion percentage or... Yeah?
Not a bad start.
Well, because I've seen when people put out stats and like, oh, Teddy Bridgewater is the best completion percentage so far through, whatever games since Peyton Manning or something like that. Or, yeah, what is it?
Teddy Bridgewater's third down efficiency is a paradox of historical proportions. Paradox.
Paradox.
It's a paradox of historical proportions.
Throwing paradox, historical, and proportions in the same sentence.
That's what plethora means.
Yeah. My guy.
You know who uses a bunch of big words?
Who uses a bunch of big words?
Who throws out a bunch of big words?
At the station?
Yeah.
Drotar?
No. Maybe, but not who I'm talking about. Chad Brown. Chad Brown throws out a bunch of big words. Big words.
Do they make you nervous?
A little bit, yes. A little bit. They do. But like 80% of the time, I've never heard of these words. Never. And he did that yesterday.
Do you remember what the word was?
No, of course not. I just remember like,
Chad
oh my
Brown.
gosh, that's a big word, and I don't know what it means, and I'm glad I'm not interacting with him right now. I'm nervous. But he does.
I learned that Chad Brown was badass of a man.
He has that in his repertoire. Like he's got the big word vocabulary.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there.
Do you
just
think
pay
Nate,
attention to it now.
Do you think Nate understands?
No, I don't. But Nate does a good job of being able to laugh. He's kind of a funny guy, so he can overcome those things and just kind of roll with the punches. But certainly Nate doesn't understand those. Have you talked to Nate?
I have not talked to Nate since he had to give me some money this past week.
Yeah, well, you talked to him enough to know that he doesn't understand those words. Feel me?
That's right.
Okay.
Paradox is a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that when investigated or explained may prove to be well-founded or true. Okay? Here we go. This is bizarre, man. Pay attention closely. In nearly 30 years, no other quarterback has ever converted on third down at a lower rate while also completing such a high percent of his passes on third down.
Oh, wow.
Since 1994. Good year. Good year.
Yeah.
What were you doing in 94?
Graduating high school.
Love it.
About to go dominate college.
Love it. Since 1994, Teddy ranks 264th out of 276 quarterbacks in third down conversion rate.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Just 33%.
264 out of 270 something?
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Since 1994.
There's only been, how many, 270, 13, 270 what? 276?
264
12?
out of 276.
12 worse.
12 worse.
That's it.
On third down.
Holy cow.
But how about this? Since 1994, Teddy ranks 16th of 276 quarterbacks in third down completion percentage.
Wow.
This is...
So he's completing passes, just not converting.
He's one of the best since 94 at completing the passes, one of the worst in actually getting the first down. That's what makes it a paradox of historical proportions.
That's really odd.
It's so bizarre.
How bizarre? So bizarre. I think that's a little bit of a culmination of a few things, Zach. I think it's you have third and long a lot, and you're forced to check down stuff. 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, like Pat Shurmur said, you can't always throw that past the sticks.
Right.
Sometimes you got to throw it 5 or 6 yards, and you got to break a tackle. We've seen Tim Patrick do that.
Sure.
sometimes that's just what you have to do. You got to take what the defense gives you, and you can't always throw it past the sticks. And then I think the other ones are, I think that's a big part of it. And your third down distance is just not manageable most of the time. But that's a astonishing.
It really is
stat.
It's insane. 1.3 yards short is the average. So he's completing one of the highest numbers in the last 30 years, or the better part of 30 years. But it actually getting the first down, he's one of the worst in 30 years.
So nothing is going past the sticks.
Nope.
I mean, nothing.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Obviously, I'm not talking about all the third downs.
Right. But most of them, I mean, you're only completing 30. You're converting 33% of your opportunities. I mean, well, what does that leave left? 67% of the time you're not. I mean, that's 2 out of 3 times you're not getting it. But he's completing the ball. It's not like they're incomplete. 70% of them.
Trying to throw incompletions.
Yes. We're actually trying to throw short of the sticks.
Sometimes there's not much scoring in the first half of games.
We're actually not trying to get the first down.
Seriously, when you take a step back and we go over these numbers, is this why he's known as Teddy Checkdown?
Yep.
Teddy 2 yards.
That's it. A lot of underneath stuff. A lot of conservative passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is why. What I really liked about Teddy when I watched him in training camp and then throughout the preseason games and even early on in the season, the first 3 games, was how I think his biggest strength and what I was so excited about was, he could go from the left side of the field all the way to the right side of the field, and he could do it really quickly.
Yep.
And I thought that was such a huge positive. It was going to benefit this team so much. And he could find those outlets and those checkdowns. He made the defense kind of defend the whole football field from left to right.
Right.
And it started off so well. He was doing that stuff early in the football season. That's really disappeared, whether it's been pressures or whether it's been just bad decisions. We just really haven't seen that as much from him like we saw early in the football season.
Yeah. I remember you raving about that at training camp.
Loved it.
He was like, wow, look at that. He's going bang, bang, bang. And I know you appreciate it because you were typically like the last option on a play. And the fact that he was getting there was, I know you had that special appreciation. He said, he would have got me over there.
That was a shot fired. That was well done. I figured something was coming. I saw you get all giddy. You got excited. You're looking at me. I'm like, okay, he's coming with a shot here. Look at him. That was a good one. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate good ones.
All season long, Broncos country has been clamoring to see the return of one particular player. But have we passed the point of no return? Take a dive into that coming up next.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Live from Blake Street Tavern. Here's Stokely and Zach on Denver Sports Station. 104.3 The Fan.
It doesn't feel like yesterday. Didn't it feel like yesterday where Drew Lock's on the sideline? He's rapping Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
It's going viral.
The good old days.
Broncos are going 4-1 to finish the season.
Yeah.
I mean, was that as optimistic as we've been at any point in the last 5 years?
I think we were optimistic about Brock Osweiler, and then that didn't happen. After the stretch that he went on, he left and went to Houston, obviously. I got to think here. You think about Keenum, not very optimistic about Keenum.
Started 2-0.
Yeah. But when you look at the young quarterback and that potential, young quarterback, second-round pick, you got him on a rookie deal, all that stuff. He's 4-1. He just beat the Texans on the road. Like, this guy's got it. This would be flat-out amazing. So, yeah, I think it Drew Lock that end of that season. And it wasn't like the Broncos had a great team.
Right.
They go 4-1. And he plays pretty well. Yes. I mean, remember the offseason, how optimistic we were about Drew and the potential we got that box checked. Now we can do all this other stuff. So I think I think that's correct. That was the most optimistic that we've been.
I think so too.
There hasn't been many moments to be optimistic about the quarterback position.
No. I think of after the Broncos beat Dallas in 2017 when Trevor threw for 4 touchdowns and the Broncos started 2-0.
I was optimistic about Trevor at that moment. I was optimistic that he could be a good, solid starting quarterback.
Everyone was high on Trevor at the time.
Okay, Trevor.
I mean, and, things change and people forget, but there was a reason why Trevor Siemian was on the Late Night Sports Center with SVP. There was a reason why Trevor was in the car with Peter King doing the interview. I mean, he was
hot.
He was hot, but it was closer to Vanilla Ice and less Jay-Z. So
yeah, unfortunately, I remember we were all excited about Brandon the Infat Allen.
Oh my God,
he just got the Infat. He just got something about him.
Who could forget?
How could we?
Who they beat Browns, right? With him?
Was that the Browns?
That's when Noah had the 75-yard catch and run touchdown.
We don't want to see Drew. We got to continue to see Brandon.
We got to evaluate
Buffalo. And he couldn't throw the ball 15 yards in the wind.
That's right.
Okay, let's go with Drew now. Good old days.
Is it even worth seeing Drew? Even with a lost season, is there still value? And is there enough time left, say, because we know he's not going to play this week or probably next week, but even if he played the last 5 games, can you even accomplish anything in that amount of time?
No. It's pointless now, which unfortunately we've gotten to that point. I heard Tyler and them talking about it. We've discussed this before. I heard them talking about Drew. Like, well, if they lose the next 2 games, then let's just put Drew in. What is that going to tell us? What is it going to really tell us? If he plays good football, that could be a false positive. Remember, Vic? False positive. It's not enough football.
That's right.
It's not enough football. It's a false positive.
False positive, that's right.
You could have a false negative, but at that point, it doesn't even really matter. Who cares? You're moving on from him anyway if he doesn't play good. But the problem is, if he does play good, and it's such a small sample size, what are you doing in the offseason? Are you going to hang your hat on a small sample size like that? You can't do that. You've got to find a quarterback no matter what. Unless he goes out there and he, in 5 games he throws for 350 per and he's just lighting the world on fire. But other than that, if it's just pretty good, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to be stuck in a situation where a lot of people are going to say, and maybe George Payton or the coach, that, hey, let's take a look at Drew again. And then you put on the back burner looking for a quarterback, and then it's going to bite you in the butt when it becomes a bigger sample size. And we're going to be stuck in the same situation where, how dumb was that?
Right.
So I think right now it's pointless because he's not playing this week. He's not playing the following week if it's not for injury.
Right.
I think it would be pointless to put him in, really. But what are we doing?
Drew Lock.
Oh, Uncle Colin chiming in.
Win more games, Cub Scout.
Ron Elway's shadow is better than you.
Wow.
Go back to the bench.
Wow.
Colin.
Do you agree with that though? Because I'm like, yeah, let's see Drew. But then the more you think about it, it's like, well, what's really the point? What can he really prove?
Right.
In 5 games, is that a big enough sample size for you?
No, it's too much to overcome. Because like when you get down in a basketball game, your coach says, guys, there's no 8-point play. Like there's one game can't count as 3 to overcome everything that's already been done.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And by the way, and I'm being dead serious here actually, because we were going over when was the most optimistic you've been about the Denver Broncos in the last 5 years? A serious question. Was it draft night when Mark told us that Aaron Rodgers was going to become the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos? 2 times. But kidding aside.
No, I know you're being serious right now.
Totally serious.
I think so. This is a playoff team for sure. Now we're thinking possibility of could we win the whole AFC?
We were literally talking about that. We were saying, could the Broncos be back in the Super Bowl? The year after they were 5-11. They have all the pieces. They just don't have the quarterback. That was actually a conversation we were having. In neither of those other scenarios we were talking about where we were talking about Broncos Super Bowl.
That's right.
So
I like that. Yeah.
Think about that.
That's what
the
Mark
most
did to us.
optimistic moment in the last 5 years was a false positive.
Yes. Mark set us up.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark, look, like Mike said yesterday, Mark had a good source.
Sure.
That source had a bad source. So you follow me on that? So Mark was getting it from a good source, but there was a lot of, I don't know who the bad apple was or the bad source, but there was buzz going around. Some major people out there.
Yeah,
some major,
for sure.
Big name reporters.
Yeah.
And it was real. But
to a certain degree.
Right. It was like people had it, and Mark had it from a reliable source. Like Mark had it from a reliable source. I don't know who it was, but I'm just telling you, he had it from a reliable source.
Yeah, he wouldn't have done what he did without it being like.
But it was whoever that person got it from. I don't know how it started or where it was coming from, but it obviously ended up being not good. But it wasn't Mark's fault.
No, wasn't Mark's fault.
But yes, I like that. I think you're. I think you're spot on because, I'm looking at this defense and I'm thinking, you know what? This defense is going to be the defense that we saw last night with the Patriots.
Right.
You put that with Aaron Rodgers, Judy, Hamler, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant, young tight end. Our two running backs, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. And then you look at this offensive line, everybody coming back, right tackle, whatever, we'll figure that out. But this offensive line will be the best offensive line we've had in, 7-8 years.
Yes.
And that's where I dropped Aaron Rodgers in. And next thing you know, obviously it didn't happen, but defense isn't close to being what I thought it would be.
No.
Offensive line hadn't been close to what I thought it would be.
Nope.
So a lot of what I thought didn't happen, plus obviously Aaron Rodgers didn't happen.
Right. Oh, I can't believe I took the Falcons last night.
I don't know what you're doing. You don't take bad football teams. That's the issue here. And the Falcons ultimately are a bad football team. And I know you look at all that other stuff, but I still, like, the one thing that you got to have the foundation is stay away from bad football teams.
Yeah.
Because bad football teams in the end will burn you in the end.
You know what I did?
In the long run.
You know what I did? I didn't listen to my own advice when I say, hey, don't let the schedule don't let that be the source of why you think something's going to happen.
Right.
I'm thinking short week.
Yep.
Take the home team.
Traveling.
NFL's random place.
You're getting 6.5 points.
Yeah, I was getting 7. You want to know what the Falcons have been outscored the last 2 weeks? This is NFL football. This is a former MVP. Last 2 weeks,
70-3.
They've been outscored 68-3. So you scored 3 points in 8 quarters? Carl Durrell's looking at you saying, pick it up. Right. The Nuggets have dropped 2 straight, and they have one of the league's most exciting teams coming into town tonight.
Uh-oh.
Also, what the heck's going on with Michael Porter Jr.?
Oh.
Take a dive into it coming up next.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday, live from Blake Street Tavern. Here's Stokely and Zach on Denver's Sports Station, 104.3 The Fan.
The Nuggets have dropped 2 straight, and they have one of the league's most exciting teams coming into town. Seriously, I think the Chicago Bulls are like one of 4 or 5 teams right now that there's a complete resurgence there, and they're just flat out fun to watch. And that's the matchup here tonight on a back-to-back after losing last night against the Philadelphia 76ers without Joel Embiid. And to discuss it more, our guy Matt Moore from the Action Network on the Johnson Auto Plaza hotline. Man, I'll tell you, Matt, after the Mavs loss, I was like, okay, really no biggie. I wasn't overreacting to it, even a little bit. And I don't want to overreact to the loss against Philadelphia, but I will say I think it's one of the worst losses of the year for anyone who watched that game. Go ahead and fill our listeners in what your biggest takeaway, why the Nuggets did lose.
They played like garbage. Like, they played just terrible. And, I mean, they didn't hide from it after the game either. They weren't like, well, they hit some shots and we just couldn't. They were like, no, we just played badly. Like, Will Barton in particular was just like, we didn't defend anybody. And to me, they looked tired. They just did. They looked tired, and now they shouldn't be. And it's their responsibility to fight through that. They got 2 days off, right? Team without Joel Embiid. This is the type of game that they lose where, they're at a huge advantage. They're at home. The team doesn't have Joel Embiid. This should be a win. Yeah, then they lose that one. Like, I have way more confidence in them winning tonight than I did yesterday. They didn't play well. They didn't execute well. Even Malone after the game didn't rip them as I kind of expected him to. He was just like, one of those games going to happen in 82 nights. So I expect a much better bounce-back performance tonight.
Matt, Michael Porter Jr., what's going on there? What you hear? What's the latest?
So if he's not back by next week when they start going on what's going to be an extended road trip with one home game kind of in the middle, there should be either an update that he is upgraded to questionable or probable and he winds up playing, or they'll issue some sort of update on a time for reevaluation. My understanding right now is that there's nothing structural, that the imaging has not revealed anything that requires surgery or anything like that. It is about comfort and pain management. And they're trying to get him to a place where those things are going to allow for him to play. Again, I think next week we'll either hear that he's back or we'll hear, we're going to keep him out another 2 weeks and see where he's at in 2 weeks. That's the expectation that I've got right now.
Matt, how important is this game tonight? I know sometimes when you're in the moment you can be a prisoner of the moment, but the Nuggets did lose to Dallas on Monday. They did lose to Philly last night, and after tonight they're going to turn around and play in Phoenix on Sunday, in Portland on Tuesday, followed by the Milwaukee Bucks at home, and then you're going on another long road trip that I believe it's either 7 or 8 games. It feels like tonight is a sneaky important game. Do you agree?
I don't know that I agree. And the reason I don't think I agree is basically that it's such a long season that if they dip under 500, does that mean that I think that they're missing the playoffs? No. I think they're really banged up right now. I think they're shorthanded trying to manage all that. I think the Bulls are coming in red hot. I didn't expect the Nuggets to get off to a good start. We talked about this in the war room before the season. I didn't expect them to get off as good of a start as they've been on. If they get the win, then it's a quality win versus a good opponent and everything seems kind of fine. But they've got to kind of make it out of the stretch where they're really banged up and the schedule is rough over the next 2-3 weeks, and then kind of ramp up towards All-Star when Jamal Murray returns. The concern you have is, will things spiral? But I have a lot of faith that the culture of this team and Nikola Jokic's play will mean that that's going to be okay. I don't worry a lot about them spiraling. I think it's an important win to break the losing streak because you don't want to go on a 6-game losing streak. That can really hurt you. But in general, I don't have a high level of anxiety about what this would mean for them if they were to lose.
Matt, your thoughts on Aaron Gordon and what you've seen from him here in the last couple weeks?
Well, he was awful last night. It's rough to ask this question. He's coming off of, I thought 2 weeks he was phenomenal. I thought he was really great in the homestand. His defense has been absolutely just terrific. It's been top notch. He's been so good at that. His three-point shot looks good, not going in. That's kind of the story of his career, but I do think that he may go on a little bit of a stretch run some point in the season where he's shooting the ball pretty well. Needs to finish better at the rim. He gets there and he takes little short jumpers, and the touch just isn't there. He's got to figure out a go-to way to get off of the glass and make those shots. When he goes glass, he shoots pretty well around the rim. That's the biggest thing. But his effort, his energy, and his overall play, I think, has helped the Nuggets a ton in getting off to what's overall been a really positive start.
Matt, last question before we let you go, man. I've been really impressed with the Chicago Bulls. This is a team that is 10-5. The Bulls haven't been very relevant for, since Derrick Rose was the MVP, and I don't know what it was before that. It's been many, many years. But this group of DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, they're not just good, they're fun to watch. What should Nuggets fans expect to see tonight from the Bulls?
They're tenacious. They really get up into you defensively. They challenge you. They make really good rotations, which is really impressive because they don't have a lot of defensive personnel outside Alonzo and Caruso. They're without Vucevic right now.
Yep.
They're having to piece it together playing small ball, but they've shown a lot of toughness. Their offense has a lot of weapons, and when they play well, they play awesome. They're coming off of a disappointing loss where they were up 19 on the Bulls and lost, or on the Blazers rather, and lost in Portland. So they want to get this one. It should be a really good battle tonight. DeRozan's passing has been phenomenal. LaVine is a special scorer and isn't getting enough attention for their success. Should be a really great game at Ball Arena tonight.
All right, we'll look forward to it. Hopefully they can stop this skid. Matt, thank you very much for your time. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there goes Matt Moore, the Action Network on the Johnson Auto Plaza hotline. DeMar DeRozan's getting like 27 a night. I'm such a fan of this Bulls team. They're fun. I'm a big Lonzo Ball guy. This should be a really, really fun game tonight at Ball Arena. And if you lose, that's going to be 3 straight on your way to a road trip, and then the Bucks at home. I mean,
what do you think? You think they get it?
I do.
I'm going to that Bucks game.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm looking up tickets here. Bringing the whole crew, it gets expensive.
Yes, it does.
It gets expensive with the whole crew, man. You know, you're looking at tickets. I'm like, do y'all care about where we sit? Because I really don't care. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'm going to that game next Friday.
That'll be next Friday
night, right?
Next Friday night, 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Yes.
That'll be a good one. We try to go to 1. Bring the crew all down for 1.
Sure.
I think that's going to be it. But it's always better when you pull a Zach by. You get free tickets.
Right.
Free ticket ride.
Hey, I gave some tickets away tonight.
I heard.
Someone's going tonight on me. You check out my Twitter account, why. But, all right, we are live here at Blake Street Tavern. Big House on Blake, 18,000 square foot sports bar.
I mean, nobody's thinking that you bought the tickets and you're actually giving them away.
Endless beers on tap. Great.
What the heck?
Great menu.
Wow, all of a sudden you're giving tickets away, huh? On your dime?
69 high-def television. College football on Saturday, pro football on Sunday. If you're stepping out this weekend, consider the Big House on Blake. You want to know what? I feel like getting you right now.
Yeah.
I feel like getting you.
Oh, do
so
you?
it's a good thing.
I
We
know
got
what time it is.
Lunch on the line, NFL picks, head-to-head, coming up next.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday, live from Blake Street Tavern. Here's Stokely and Zach on Denver's Sports Station, 104.3 The Fan.
Got the drink in me going back to back. Yeah, going back to back. I got the drink in me going back to back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going back to back. I don't want to hear about the 7.
Stoke wins 1 week and he thinks it's hot.
That's me. Hot boys.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you did. You won last week. You deserve credit for it.
That's right.
You are now 3-7 on the season.
I don't know about the records.
I know about.
To keep track of.
I know.
All I know is I've won 1 in a row. It's about to be 2 in a row. Let's go.
We'll
Game
see.
time.
We'll see. We start with. Oh man, we're coming out of the gate. We're coming out of the gate. You got the 8-2 Green Bay Packers traveling to Minneapolis, Minnesota to play the 4-5 Vikings. Vikings are under 500. Packers are 8-2.
Yeah.
Packers are going to wipe the floor with these guys, aren't they, Stoke?
That's right. I don't know about wipe the floor. Vikings got some weapons offensively. I can't trust the Vikings. And when I don't trust you, I don't like you. And when I don't like you, I don't pick you. Give me the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I trust him and I like him. I trust and I like him. I'm taking the Packers.
We're cooking with fish grease out of the gate.
Oh, you go with your cousin?
Hey.
And your uncle? Uncle Zim?
Uncle Zim. My cousin Kurt.
What?
This game doesn't make sense to me. You got the 8-2 Packers against an under 500 Vikings team, and the spread is 1.5. But you want to know what the Vikings do every single week?
Play close games.
They play close games. 8 of the 9 games this season for Minnesota have been decided by 7 points or less. Green Bay's rolling. Remember they got beat week 1? And people were like, yeah, Rodgers doesn't love football. Remember they got beat week 1?
Yeah, by the Saints.
Stoke, they've covered the spread 9 consecutive weeks since then. And it is time. What goes up must come down. This is a correction week. Green Bay gets knocked off in Minnesota. Forget the number. Vikings win the game on the field.
Yes. You fall into that trap again.
We got the Indianapolis Colts who are playing good football. They've won, I think, 4 of their last 5 games, or 3 of their last 4 maybe. They're traveling to the Lions' Den in Western New York to play the Buffalo Bills, who are 6-3. Bills are about 7.5 point favorite. Do you think Buffalo takes care of business, or is Indianapolis scrappy?
I do. Buffalo concerned me with a couple of their performances there against Jacksonville and
Miami.
Miami barely won that one and kind of separated there in the second half against Miami, but played awful against Jags. They bounced back last week, and it was a better performance against the Jets, a convincing win, which it should have been. You're at home against the Colts. I'm not picking against the Bills at home, but if the Colts can run the football with Jonathan Taylor like they've been doing here the last 3 weeks, it's going to be a really close football game, but there's no chance I'm not picking the Bills at home.
Well, I think this is going to be a very close game. I'm totally staying away from it because of what you said. The run game, they play good defense. If you remember, Buffalo made it to the AFC Championship game last year. They barely got out of the first round. That was a 3-point win over Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts. So, and by the way, Indianapolis has covered each of its past 3 games as a road underdog. So I think this is going to be close, but I do think Buffalo wins it.
Be a good test to see kind of where the Bills are at right now.
Yes. Because you're right, they were that
just
game
haven't
against
been the
Miami
same.
was 6-6. It was 3-3 in the fourth against Jacksonville. Like
they were rolling there in the middle of this, not middle, but 3-4 weeks ago they were just rolling, and then they hit a big speed bump, and so we'll see. We'll see what they look like against a quality team in the Colts.
All right, we get to the 5-4 New Orleans Saints. They travel to Philly, who's riding high after punking the Broncos a week ago. What do you got here?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with New Orleans to go in there and get a W. The Eagles, I think we saw the best version of who they were against a team that just played poorly in Denver. The Saints are coming off of a loss, right, a week ago.
I think they lost 2 in a row. Yeah, they lost to the Falcons 2 weeks ago.
They lost to the Falcons at the buzzer.
And then they lost last week to the Titans on the road.
Good call.
You're
Good call.
Right, it is.
I thought they were going to go in there and win, and that game was close. I mean, that game was very close down the stretch.
The kicker can't kick a field goal, an extra point, missed 2. So they have to go for a 2-point conversion. Then the tight end jumps off sides. And they had Taysom Hill in. Now the next thing you know, the 2-point conversion is from the 8-yard line.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster. But I got the Saints correcting course and getting a 6-4 in Philly.
I'm going to go with the Saints also. I like their defense. I think their defense is what wins this football game for them. We'll see if Kamara's going to play or not. He didn't play last week. But I'm going to go with the Saints, and plus I need the Saints to win.
Yes, you do. One stat ahead of this game, the Saints are allowing an NFL low 1.9 yards per zone read rush this season, which is what Philly likes to do. We saw that a week ago.
Good little sprinkle there.
The Ravens, who are 6-3, coming off an embarrassing loss to the Miami Dolphins in primetime, travel to Chicago to play the 3-6 Bears. Baltimore looks like they're about a 4.5-point favorite. What do you like here?
I like Baltimore, although I'm really concerned by what I saw last Thursday. That was high school football on offense, and I put that on that coaching staff offensively. They couldn't call plays and figure out a way to beat what the Dolphins kept doing over and over and over again. It was ridiculous to watch that. And Lamar Jackson was getting plummeted, and they just kept on spreading the field out, 4 receivers, and didn't help their offensive line out at all.
Right.
It was awful. I just don't believe in the Bears. I believe in the Ravens a little bit more, even though it is on the road.
It is on the road.
In Chicago. I'm just going to think that the Ravens will get it corrected. I'm going Baltimore.
I agree with you. They got the mini bye because they played on Thursday Night Football, right? So they're rested. And I just don't think the Bears are very good. And by the way, let's look at some history. I like looking at history, Stoke.
You're a history buff, Zach.
You don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
That's it.
For 7 straight years, the Chicago Bears have failed to cover coming out of their bye week.
Wow. Let's make it 8.
Wow. All right, we move along. It's Washington, who's 3-6, traveling to the Panthers. Cam Newton back in the fold. He's back.
I'm back. That's what I'm going to be saying on Monday.
I hope so.
Again.
Look, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm rooting for you.
Come on, stop
we're still a team.
I don't want to hear that.
Like, am I trying to be the leading scorer on this team? You're darn right, but eventually you're still my teammate. We got to beat Tyler and D-Mac. Come on.
I let it die.
What do you think here?
I think it's going to be a close one. I don't think that Cam Newton has a resurrection this year, and all of a sudden we're seeing Cam Newton of 4 years ago. I think he's going to come back to earth a little bit here. But this game is at home. If it was in Washington, I would take Washington. I'm going to take the Panthers at home, but I'm not a believer that Cam Newton's going to go out here and have some kind of magic resurgence the last 7 weeks of the season. So I'm not buying Cam Newton, but I'm taking Carolina at home.
I don't think Cam Newton's very good at football anymore, but still I think they have the better roster. I'm taking the home team as well. You have the Texans, who are 1-8, traveling to the Titans. This should be a smack fest, no?
Yes, exactly what it's going to be.
Titans, they're a 10-point favorite. They're going to take care of business there at home. You got the 0-8-1 Lions. Even when they don't lose, they can't win. They travel to Cleveland to play the 5-5 Browns. Cleveland's a big favorite here.
Yeah, well, they're...
No Jared Goff.
Right. He's got a baby oblique. Maybe you can give him some advice. Have you ever had a baby oblique?
Never had an oblique.
Okay, well.
Who's the backup there?
You never heard of him.
Tim Boyle.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the Browns.
Yeah, Browns big. 49ers are traveling to Jacksonville.
This is a must-win for me, by the way. So people who are watching this game, the 49ers blow this one, I'm going to be depressed. Think about me.
I agree with you, because I got the Jacksonville as one of my 3-season-long totals. I got the under. They're 2-7 right now. Send them to 2-8. I think the Niners.
What is it? 4.5? 4?
No, it's 5.5.
5.5
for Jacksonville.
5.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Where'd you get that number?
So I need them to lose, and then the Niners blew out the Rams last week in primetime, 31-10. I think that score was. I think they got right. I think that's closer to the version of who they truly are. I think they go into Jacksonville and win by a touchdown or more.
These are the games that concern me with the 49ers. They show up and they play a big game. They get themselves back in the mix, and then all of a sudden, they go on the road, and Jimmy Garoppolo looks like a fifth-string quarterback.
Yep.
That concerns me with Jimmy Garoppolo. But
hopefully George Kittle's presence being back takes Jimmy to,
I hope you're right, but I'm going 49ers also.
All right. We get to the Dolphins, who are 3-7, traveling to the Jets, who are 2-7. This one belongs in London, but they're going to play it in New York. What do you think of that matchup?
I'm going Dolphins. I just think the Dolphins are a better team. Joe Flacco is starting for the Jets. Will Joe Flacco be able to get the Jets a victory at home? I'm going Miami Dolphins.
Mile High Joe meets the Big Apple. Give me Gang Green at home. Following an embarrassing loss to Buffalo.
Goodness.
Give me Mile High Joe meets the Big Apple.
Dolphins win by double digits. Dolphins win by double digits in this one, Zach. That's a bad
If I'm paying for pizza next week, it's because of what I just did there.
Yes, exactly.
You got the 5-win Bengals traveling to the 5-win Raiders. Both of these teams, the wheels have come off here. But you got to pick a winner. Who do you like?
Wow. I'm going to go with the home team. Who's the home team? The Raiders. I'm going to go with the Raiders at home. But I don't believe in them. I don't trust them. But I don't believe in Cincy either, with what I've seen from them the last few weeks. I think they're coming off of a bye. I don't remember them playing last week.
No, you're right.
But
I was hoping you'd do that.
Both teams stink. Okay. That's what I'm doing, man. I don't know.
Well, this is just a disaster of a game.
Yeah.
This one belongs on Thursday night, it feels like. But I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Raiders are just reeling. I think they're a broken team. And I'm going to take Cincinnati, just like I'm taking KKFN HD1 Longmont Denver, speaking of back-to-back. You got the Cowboys traveling to the Chiefs.
Just not the same.
Take that.
I know.
Take that. You got the 7-2 Cowboys traveling to the 6-4 Kansas City Chiefs. I'd like to take this one first.
You take this one first, Zach.
Dallas last week got right against Atlanta by the tune of 43-3. KC dominated the Raiders last week. But that was the first time Kansas City really looked right to me this year. Kansas City's 0-5 against the spread at home. 0-5. Dallas is 4-0 against the spread on the road. Give me America's team to march into Kansas City and win that game on the field.
Dallas has played, probably been the most consistent team in the NFL this year. They had the one bad game. It was against the Broncos.
Yep.
Their worst performance by far. They bounced back last week. Kansas City has been so inconsistent. They're a team that I can't trust. But you say Cowboys, I say Chiefs.
I love it.
You say Cowboys, I say Chiefs.
I love it.
Give me the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
All right, to finish up here, we got the 8-2 Cardinals. They were humbled the last time we saw them. DeAndre Hopkins still is not going to play. They're traveling to the 3-6 Seattle Seahawks. Give me Seattle to bounce back. Give me Russell Wilson in game number 2. Now, I picked him against them in last week in his first game back. Some of that rust is off. All right, they're 3-6. This doesn't make sense. They're playing an 8-2 team. The spread is 2.5. It smells like a corpse that's been left out in the sun. Give me the Seattle Seahawks at home.
Give me Coach Vance. Give me Coach Vance.
Oh, look at you.
I'm taking Coach Vance in that defense. You saw last year what happened when Coach Vance had that thing dialed up, and Isaiah Simmons, the rookie, was in the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, he bailed out, made the great interception on Russell. Coach Vance is going to have some more stuff up his sleeve that's going to confuse Russell Wilson. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals and Coach Vance Joseph's defense.
We're back.
All right,
Thank you, Coach.
Final game of the night. It's Sunday night on NBC, Football Night in America. You got the 5-3-1 Steelers traveling to the Chargers, who are 5-4. They've come back down to earth. Chargers are still a legitimate favorite here. Steelers are really banged up.
Yep.
I got the Chargers taking care of business at home.
Go Chargers, go.
Go Chargers, go.
Yes.
Okay.
That was Arnold Schwarzenegger, if y'all didn't know.
They know. They know.
That was
if they
terrible.
didn't, now they know.
Go Chargers, go.
Go Chargers, go.
All right, so real quick before we give these knuckleheads some light,
Yeah.
what are our disagreements here?
We have the disagreements are Packers, Vikings, the Dolphins, Jets, the Raiders, Bengals, Chiefs, Cowboys, Cards, Seahawks. We got a lot.
We got a lot. I love it.
We got a lot.
Hey, fun week of doing radio. Shout out Richie Carney behind the glass, taking the wheel of the rundown today and helping me out in a big way. Stoke, hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
You too.
All right, we step aside. We got our guys, Tyler and D-Mac. The drive is right now.
Miss any of Stokely and Zach? Make sure to subscribe to our on-demand podcast. You'll get every episode as soon as they're released. Just subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or at 1043thefan.com.